Is back. We're running out of time for you to end the season, but we're gonna take 5 minutes to say our goodbyes to everyone.
Yeah, we need a big.
I
big
think I caught up to Discovery.
Yes. Okay, we're not here to talk about Discovery. Hey, everybody.
That's Thursday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday night here on Live Long and Podcast, and that means that it is D Space Nine at 9 time. We're continuing our journey through this show as we our 3.5 year journey to watch it each week, episode by episode. And this is the 8th episode of the second season, called Necessary Evil. Jeff, you want to set this up?
Sure. Yeah, so this is directed by James L. Conway. It debuted on 27th of March, 1996. Maybe a young... Oh, am I breaking up? Maybe a young David Mader was making pizzas at a Filthy McNasty's when this episode first aired.
Filthy McNasty's.
Or maybe not. Maybe he was too young for that.
No, he would have been too young then.
It would have maybe been the next year. Maybe season 3 we'll catch that time in history. But for now, we're talking about an episode called Necessary Evil, guys. This is kind of like an Odo Kira backstory episode that, like, I guess we didn't know we wanted, but when we got it, we were like, how did we not have this before? You know, like this was like a kind of like regardless of the story of like the murder and the investigation, just like their whole kind of story of like where they first met, and like I don't know how much that's been brought up so far, guys. I don't know about you. Is that something you guys noticed? Dave, I'll swing it over to you real quick just because you're the first one to kind of go here. What did you think?
I was the first one to go. Yeah, that's right. I realized that this is your podcast, and then I shouldn't have even introduced anything. But then I was like, okay, I'm already speaking, so I better go here. So hi, everybody. And also, hello, Kevin and Ashley. Nice to see you, and welcome tonight to talk about this episode. And Jaemeel, how are you doing? But just to get into this episode, I gotta. Here's breaking news at this hour. I've never seen this episode. I didn't even know it existed. I was not familiar with this at all, and it was a treat. It was a real treat because it was like a hidden Easter egg, a deleted scene I had never caught in the story. And Jeff, we had previewed this last week. It seemed like this was almost like that episode that will come later, where we get these like basically it turns out to be like a changeling telepathic coma or something that happens, where we get kind of more backstory on Odo's days working for Girl Dukat and the Cardassians on the station. But this was right. I didn't know this existed. I didn't know this was a complete backstory on Odo and Kira and Dukat. Way more insight into Dukat than I realized that they had planted this early. And yeah, just in terms of like this mystery, it's whatever. I don't think that this like widow is that memorable, and her nefarious plot to kill Quark is sort of not what's really notable here. It's more just this moral ambiguity between, especially with Kira, because Kira continues to be this fascinating character in the pantheon of Star Trek characters. So
absolutely. We'll head over to Kevin and Ashley. Just give you a quick breakdowns of what you guys do. You guys like this episode for the Odo Kira relationship? Do you kind of like Odo's all about justice and Kira's all about like whose side are you on? And that's kind of like the theme of the episode. But do you guys kind of side with one of those characters, or do you see both points of view? Where do you guys stand on that?
I don't know. I guess I see both points of view. I mean, that's what Star Trek does. It makes you see both sides. But this episode, I like this episode, even though I didn't remember it either, even though I watched it probably 3 months ago. It's not very memorable because it starts with Quark and the widow, and you don't care about that at all.
No.
And but this episode, I do remember it reminds me of Data's Day, but for Odo. It's Odo's logs, and Odo is I love that opening with Odo talking about how his memory is good enough, and
Yeah, Starfleet is just to keep these logs. Ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like, I don't like files, and then later on, he's all about his files and his work, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I like
kind of a
the episode.
contradiction.
I think it's good, and I think it does. It starts off kind of meh, and then by the end, it reveals Kira to be a bit different than you thought, and their relationship to be different than they both thought.
Yes, they come to some revelations. Ashley, any quick thoughts about this episode? Is it memorable for you? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you kind of meh? Where are you on this?
It's one of my favorite episodes. I like Odo and Kira episodes. I think they have great chemistry on screen. They always seem to have interesting stories together. They have a great friendship. It's good because this is a softer side of Kira. Like, you finally see a side of Kira that's not quite so angry. Like, she doesn't have to play. Where did Dave go? He doesn't like my thoughts.
That sounds like a weird game that she was playing. Where did Dave go?
Yeah, I like it, but any episode that centers around Odo, I like.
Yeah, Odo's a great character, and it seems like he's very easy to write for, as far as like he's like this detective, and that leans into a lot of tropes, and you basically make it like a Law and Order show, or you can make it like a Sherlock Holmes type thing, or you can kind of make it like all sorts of different things with the detective genre, and he kind of gets to fill that. Jaemeel, we haven't got you in here, but now's your time to shine. Odo, Kira, do you like this episode? Do you want more? Have you had enough? Was it just right? Was Goldilocks situation? What was it?
I'm disappointed in the fact that no one has mentioned how awesome Rom was in this episode.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
He was great. And this episode did a lot in terms of of developing the characters. One, you have elements of Rom's intelligence, as well as you have an introduction to Nog's abilities, right? Little background, right, to set up the stage. Plus, you really see some real chemistry, some real like palpable chemistry between Kira and Odo. The only reason this works so well is because it's there. All right, especially with its ending. I love the wave.
Welcome back, Dave, to DS9 at 9.
Hey, glad to be here. I think I had some internet connectivity issues there for a moment, but
We're just here chatting with Jaemeel Robinson about what he thought about Rom in DS9 this week, Necessary Evil. Dave, what say you about... is this the first time we've gotten a real version of Rom? Is this the real Rom?
I think it is.
I think so.
Right.
this is the closer to who Rom will become. Yes, this is a much softer version of him than we've seen in any of the previous iterations, which have been this way more maniacal, villainous version. And this is more of he's more opportunistic but cute, is I guess what they're trying to write here for Max Grodenchik, and it's working more. I think that the writers liked what they saw here, and they kind of leaned way more into this as things went on.
We did very well at the bar, and our profits were exceedingly what are expected. So I broke into your vault to put it into your, like, I put the money into your vault. It was like, what? Wait, what? Right? It's so endearing, and then compared to like the previous episode, and how he was presented. So they had a sample of both sides, and they leaned into the correct one.
I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I like that they changed the character, and that Quark is surprised at how they've changed the character. Like, he's surprised at all the things that have been added. He's like, wait, you're like this?
Yeah.
You do this? You what?
It's great.
Yeah, and like they're going from the other direction of like, well, we thought that
Rom's an idiot. He couldn't fix a straw if it was bent.
Right. That's what Oda told us.
Such a good
But
line.
maybe no, actually, it's a lie. Rom's a lot smarter than we ever thought. Like he's not in some ways, but
It's such a great line. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is. I think Rom's the character, like, don't judge a book by its cover type character.
Yeah.
You know, that's totally his thing, and this is the first.
Is that me?
No,
Or did you
I
just
think
bring? Okay.
no,
I'm like,
Jeff
Jeff
Rose. Oh.
Rose.
okay. I was like, I was hanging on your word, Jeff. I was hanging on your word.
You're back, Jeff.
Okay.
Did
I'll-
I freeze or does it all go fast?
No, you
You
Like
froze.
You
you
froze.
caught up for a moment.
I froze.
Yeah,
It's wireless, and it's not. It doesn't seem to always work right.
All I would have to say is that Rom is a fool, but he's not foolish.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, other way around. He is foolish, but he's not a fool. There you go. That's what I
I
mean.
think that's,
think
yeah, you're right.
Rom he's smart and great at certain things, and he tried too hard to do the Ferengi way, and that's not where his smarts lay.
Yeah, he's better. Yeah.
Got away from trying to do the profit side of it and trying to do the Ferengi way and doing it more of the way the Bajorans do it or the Federation. That's where his smarts came out.
And actually, I love when Nog is deciding to go to Starfleet, and his reason is, my dad chased profit, wasted his time.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be me. I don't have the lobes either. Like, I'm not good at it either. So he decided to do something else. Well, that was really smart writing.
Although all his trading with the Yamek sauce shows that maybe he does have the lobes for that.
Yeah, he needed Jake's help.
Who wants dirt?
Lobes.
Land is good.
Dirt.
Okay.
Why is there no Star Trek Yamek sauce that I can buy?
Right?
Well, maybe you need to sell Jameel's Yamek sauce.
Jameel's Yamek sauce.
I just think of it.
Telling people that they have the lobes for business.
Do it.
Yeah. Star Trek condiments.
Star Trek condiments.
Are you looking at-
The tartar sauce is the Yamek sauce.
Oh, really?
Wait,
Yeah.
what do you eat with Yamek sauce? What is that?
It's like fish. It's with fish because Cardassians eat fish. So you do the tartar sauce as the
Yeah,
Yamek
because
sauce.
they're like reptiles. Yeah.
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 They only eat
Makes-
fish,
Yeah, and slugs and stuff. And
slugs too.
And drink Canar.
And
Which
drink
looks disgusting.
What's Canar made out of? I want to know.
I don't think you want to know.
It's a syrup. I know that.
Broken dreams.
But back to the episode. Okay, so it kind of starts off with like this whole thing with Quark, and he finds this box with a piece of paper on it with 8 different names, right? And these 8 names are Bajoran names that were potentially traitors or were traitors because Gul Dukat hid it in the wall, right? That cell. That's where Odo has the flashback. And
Golden Cod didn't hide it there, did he?
yes, it was Gul Dukat who hid it there.
Oh, it was Golden Cod who did that. Okay.
Yes, Gul Dukat hid it in the wall, and then Rom and Quark found it. All those, a couple of years later, whatever. How many years is it between the periods here? Do we know?
I think it's what 8.
Yeah, it can't be that long.
Dun dun dun. Let's look.
2365. So it's 5 years earlier.
5 years. Okay, so that's not that long, really.
A lot has changed in Deep Space Nine in that 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like how they present Odo too, where you see his abilities, but even the introduction to when him and Gul Dukat have their first conversation, you see Odo has his head down, won't look him in the eye, right? Compared to as the investigation goes on and Gul Dukat notices the change and like, you're not afraid of me at all. You don't fear anyone. Yeah. Right?
They have a lot of tug of rope like scenes with each other here in this episode. There's a few times where like Gul Dukat's like, is this the person or is this her? And Odo's like, back off. He's like, I'm doing my investigation.
I'm a lawman.
We get to witness the meeting of Odo and Quark, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love. I love that they did that. That
Yeah.
we get to see
Odo
the
and Quark, Odo and Kira, Odo and Ducat.
Ducat. Yes.
Yeah, those three in this episode, which is pretty cool considering. Like I said, it was the backstory episode we didn't know we wanted. But
Yeah, it's good that they did it because nobody cared about the actual story that was going on, just all the backstory.
yeah, the Bajoran 8-person conspiracy theory thing going on in the episode is really just
window dressing
to get these characters in these different timelines to kind of connect everything together in the connective tissue and make it about this, whether or not she was innocent or guilty of murdering this guy. She was guilty, but Odo stuck up for her anyway, even though, like, does he still
only
tell
because he believed her?
Only because he believed her, but he doesn't seem mad once she tells him that she did kill the guy. He kind of just goes, "Huh, all right, well, too bad."
he didn't have enough information.
Yeah,
right. And
I think he's shaken by it, though. I think by the end, I think that it's unresolved, and I liked that part of it too.
Okay. So, did you guys like the flashbacks this episode, Jaemeel? Like, did you like the way
Yes, I did a lot. It felt like noir, especially with the dark and stormy night opening, and then they were playing on a lot of tropes. But once all of that was tossed aside, it was really good to see like Odo do his work and how he is so good at reading people because he's an observer. As an outsider, he has that outsider's view. People don't really notice that he's watching them, right? And he has those skills. They've been honed, right? And it was great interactions with individuals. I wish Kira kind of had that ponytail still. I hate her hair, but like that's my issue, not hers. You do you, right? I don't know. I spent a lot of time enjoying. When I look back at this episode, I enjoyed the rom scenes a lot. I can just play back that hero rom scene where he's just screaming.
I love the scene where Odo is kind of breaking it out of Cisco, and he's like saying to Cisco, he's like, what did Rom say? He's like, I question him. He says he doesn't know anything. He knows, or whatever he says. It's really good.
He knows.
They do that bad cop shit on him. It was awesome.
Yeah, the good
it's
cop.
Not like Cisco gets to do in this episode either, too.
Yeah, because at first, he's doing like the sincere, no, he's the father of my boy's friend. And,
he's not being sincere.
No, I know he's not, but you think he is at first, and then you're like, oh, okay.
And it is jarring because he said that, and I went, what?
Yeah.
Did we miss an episode?
Oh, I see what they're doing.
They're gonna fuck with this little Ferengi.
But it was good that like Cisco was able to slip right into that immediately. He knew where he was going.
Yeah, he's like, this is good bonding for me and Odo. Odo is one of my guys that I need him to work better for me. I need him to do his logs, even though he tells me they're stupid and wasting time.
Yeah.
I love at the end of at the end of his log where he's like, so I'm going to put my voice to this recording as requested. All is fine. End of log.
That's the best.
That was great.
Everything's under control. End log.
That's it. Everything's under control. End of log. Very Ron Swanson-esque.
I mean, this has got to be the first episode of Star Trek that I could think of that starts off with like the chief security operations officer log. I
think they did this with Worf maybe before. I think
no, but he's not Starfleet. Like he's not Starfleet. Like he's like this. Yeah, it's like the first time it's like a Bajoran, like log. But it's not even nothing to do with Starfleet really at all.
And it's the first person that's reluctant to do a log.
Yeah. They're like, this is dumb, but I'm doing this anyways.
I want to do this. I'm glad I'm not in Starfleet.
What I think also really stood out for me in this episode was the use of flashbacks, which Star Trek does not do a lot of. And when they do flashbacks or callbacks. It's usually time travel, or it's some kind of holodeck recreation, or there's some kind of explanation as to why you're seeing a recreation or a reenactment of what's happened. But this was true flashbacks. It wasn't until Picard and Discovery it became very commonplace for them to use the flashback device, which I think sometimes feels out of place. But here I wasn't really, because I hadn't seen this before.
Outside of the TNG clip show.
Outside of the TNG clip show, that would be the only.
Okay.
I guess
remember.
that's why I have an aversion to flashbacks, maybe because of that episode, which was a product of the writer's strike of the 80s. But God. Like, I don't know. It was interesting to see how this played out, because when to see the occupation, for one thing, in actual form, because before that I'd only seen that episode where we go into Odo's mind and he reenacts that murder investigation that he kind of botched. But this was different than that. This was an actual flashback.
Yeah. And done expertly. Like it's really good.
Yeah, like cutting between the two time periods, but you really understand, okay, and this is what quarks look like during the occupation, during this time period, with the Cardassian emblem.
He was making a lot of money during the occupation, but he probably had to pay them like don't mess me up fee, like protection money.
Oh, interesting just seeing Gul Dukat as the commander of the station. How he interacts with Quark in this episode stood out to me, because he's like his Quark. He's, I guess, Dukat comes up as Odo is busting Quark, and he says, I guess I'll owe you a case of Cardassian ale. He's like, at least 2.
So he had the same arrangement with Dukat as he does with Sisko.
Right, and the dichotomy, and like obviously that that Dukat is the foil of Sisko, but that's being kind of set up here, because it's interesting, because you hear about Dukat, the prefect of Bajor, responsible for so many deaths, but how does he compare to Sisko? Also, is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
especially at this point in the series.
I like Dukat in this episode. Like, he is really likable as a bad guy.
He's really likable almost all the way throughout. Like, he's
when he's joking with Odo, and they're like together as like a pair. You're like, I want to see more of this.
Yeah,
I do. I really do. And you can't really say that about a lot of shows where people have to grow on you. In the grand scheme of things, we have not spent that much time with Gul Dukat, yet he is still like, the moment he comes on, he is on. He like, I feel like that's the same character, right? That has a journey, has an arc. Like, they're not like working out the kinks of the characters like they did with Rom. Like, Gul Dukat is Gul Dukat.
From beginning
immediately.
He is who he is.
Yeah, and he is one of the best characters in the entire show.
In all of Star Trek.
In all of Star Trek, I would say, yeah, absolutely.
Right, because like I don't think the other shows don't have a Dukat per se, right? Like a true villain of the show. That's kind of
Janeway.
Who's Janeway's?
Her?
She's her own villain. Okay.
Justice for Tuvix.
Justice for Tuvix. If we're looking at it from Tuvix's perspective, yes.
I'm sorry.
Maybe the Borg Queen, I guess, in Voyager, or Q in Next Gen, I guess. But Q is not the same as Dukat.
I'm sorry.
You're still loud about Janeway. Or not an Enterprise, no. So like the way that I don't think they had this plan per se to use Dukat in the way they ended up using him. But I think that obviously the bringing him back time and time and again was like more of this, and they're starting to kind of figure out how to use these characters more.
Can we agree the best part of this episode is when Quark is asking Odo if he wants some like ginger tea or some chocolate or some companionship, and then Gul Dukat just goes, and then it like super cuts to a bunch of people like drinking and laughing, and then it just pans to Sisko and Dax. So My favorite part.
Yeah, where it wasn't as fun, but it's not as fun now, Quarks, as it was then.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
what we're led to believe?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It looked a little more barren at Quark's bar in those days.
That's what I'm saying. He's like he was making more money, but he probably had to pay more during
Yeah.
that time period.
That's what I'm saying, yo. That's it.
What I'm saying, you know.
Yeah, because he gets everything free with the Federation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't use money. What do they want to take money from people for?
True. And then you have more different types of exotic individuals coming in with the Federation there, whereas Cardassia probably had like a more stringent guest list that came through the station. And then Quark had to probably navigate the underground too, that probably loathed him as well. So.
Here's my question. Just what really occurred to me tonight was that Quark more of a shifty guy than, I knew this, but it just reinforces that, like, why did he get this bar, which is basically, on this station where Cardassians are committing atrocities against Bajorans? If Quark has a moral fiber, which I think we know he does, how did he come to have this bar in the first place? Is he complicit, in his role in the occupation?
I think as the show goes on, Quark's moral fiber strengthens. I don't think it was so strong early on, and I think he started a bar there for cheap labor.
Yeah.
Right. And Odo, is he to be judged for working for the Cardassians? Is Kira did Kira have this opinion of him just?
I think he could be judged for working for them, but I mean, they all say he was fair generally. It's weird to me that he worked for the Cardassians.
He tried to justify it in his mind, but he was working for the Cardassians.
Well, how did he get the job with the Bajorans?
That he was just and fair, regardless. If he's watching injustice occur, right? There's a level of what type of justice he's kind of peddling. He was only peddling justice of whoever was in power, really.
Right. And I think this episode, I think this episode also goes to show that, like, Odo's not one to, like, be like a Cardassian, and like he probably had enough circumstantial evidence on Kira to arrest her and maybe have her executed in the past, but he didn't do that. Whereas, like, that's kind of, to me, like, yeah, like we explaining to you, like, why he worked for the Cardassians, because I think he looked at it as like a way to learn about humans and the way they operate, but he also, like, has this, like, thing with justice.
So he doesn't have to do Cardassian neck tricks.
Well, that too.
Which we never got to see. I always wanted to know what that hell that was.
I don't think I thought about that. I was like, I bet you they were like, never touched the neck part, because I bet you that's just like sitting there, like almost like football pads.
Cardassians do things with their necks that we don't. Can they do tricks with their necks?
Oh,
I think it's probably just like the size. It just kind of pops up and just like rotates, maybe. A shift.
It seemed uncomfortable to be a Cardassian on the show.
Yeah.
Just, but morally, or just physically?
That's like, they say that through the whole show. The station is uncomfortable. The beds are uncomfortable. Yeah. Like,
Cardassians don't like comfort.
It's too fucking hot for everybody. The Cardassians just like uncomfortable.
Yeah, sure. And like, yeah, and they wear these uniforms that like bulge out like 2 feet from their body. Yeah. Like, it's crazy, like how much like that the like thing like pops out.
I can't remember a shirtless Cardassian. Do they have a bulbous chest? If I will,
they do not have a bulbous chest, because we saw Cardassian females that, well, at least the females do not, because they would have dresses with low cut, and we kind of, so the Cardassians do have like how they have like that spoon shape on their forehead. They also have that on their chest as well. So maybe the males have bigger versions of that protrude more. That's feasible. So they need that little point out here. We never.
They looked at Madonna and they're like, Madonna was cool.
We never got to see a Cardassian without his shirt off in the whole run. I don't think.
No, I don't think we ever do.
So, Dave,
one in his underpants.
So, Dave, you know what? Next time there's a Star Trek convention, you need to go talk and ask that question. What does a Cardassian with his shirt off look like? Does he have a bulbous chest?
Who's qualified to answer that question? Is my only
whoever you're asking.
Yes, whoever you're
I'm gonna ask somebody who's completely not qualified to even tackle it.
Avery Brooks. You have to ask Avery Brooks.
Yeah, what do you think it's like when the Cardassian takes his shirt off? What do you think a Cardassian in a bathing suit would be like?
Ask Patrick Stewart. I bet you he'll have an answer.
He would.
Because we get to see other aliens without their shirts on. I don't know. I'm just saying.
True.
We saw Klingons have like these Klingon ridges going all up and down, like their spines and stuff. That we'll get to see later on, especially with
gripping points. It's gripping points.
Yeah, gripping points, something to hold on to.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Oh. Right. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think it's just because it was not very practical, but now with today's makeup and things they can do with CGI, they'll put, like if we ever get to see, they haven't really shown us Cardassians a new Trek yet. Maybe a little. I think there was one in the cartoon, but.
I don't even want to know what a Cardassian looks like on Star Trek Discovery.
No.
They'll ruin
They're
it.
my favorite enemy. No, don't, please, just no.
Even when I see what they've done with the Andorians, in the season 3 premiere for Discovery, there was a couple of Andorians. They look a little different on these Andorians. They're a little bit more rigid on their makeup design and stuff.
I'm fine with things looking different as long as it's good.
It is good. Season 3 is looking promising so far. Just check out our podcast on Thursday nights. Well, we're back to Deep Space Nine. Necessary evil. Who was the necessary evil? Was it Odo or was it Kira?
I think it was like
Kira.
Yeah, Kira is this like because the guy had the list of the 8 Bajorans that were selling them out to the Cardassians, and then she says she killed the guy accidentally. Now,
accidentally,
they caught me, and so I had to kill him accidentally.
Pretty much.
She knew
killed him
he
on
would.
purpose, but it was second-degree murder, not first-degree murder.
Correct.
Yes,
It was very intentional. It was not manslaughter.
So Kira is a murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we knew that
already though.
And I think,
you know who isn't a murderer? That assassin who's terrible, point blank shot, and Quark still survives, bro.
And then he tried to take him out with a pillow. That was his follow-up.
That effect when he gets shot and he gets shot across the room. I was like, whoa, what happened there? Like
I was like, oh my god, I've definitely never seen this. I've never seen Quark get blown across a room by a disruptor. It was compressed Tetrion beam, I believe, is what it was. Because it matters.
It does.
Julian, if he didn't know what kind of weapon it was, he wouldn't have treated it.
He just went with it because Odo guessed.
He's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Good thing he didn't say Polaron.
Is O'Brien even in this episode?
Nope.
No.
Neither
was Jake. Neither was.
Dax was in it.
Yeah.
Was she in it?
Yeah.
Very
With Cisco at the bar after the laughing about Odo getting some companionship.
So remember that call for set. It's like, do I have this week off? It's like, no, we got a 2-second scene where you show up, so you got to be in uniform and makeup for the entire day. Sorry.
Yeah.
But let's get back to Kira because we know she's a murderer. Do you think less of her in terms of what she had to do during the occupation?
No, we
role
already
in the underground.
But I think now I know she's a murderer. We didn't know. I don't think before this episode, in like that she was definitely like a cold-blooded murderer. She was like a freedom fighter,
right. But she killed somebody in cold blood for her mission. in the
Which
interest
one?
of permission and to save herself. Honestly,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Because he called her a name. It was a little more in depth.
it's not to say that she felt she was justified in what she needed to do.
she was on a mission.
Yeah,
But he was a collaborator, and you know how she talks about collaborators.
Well, I know how she talks about them, but I think I think she believes she's justified. I guess can we even this is going to come up again and again over Kira is can we because this show was made pre 9/11, the conception of terrorists and all these kinds of things, and even like sort of this Cold War thing. I think didn't have the context that a post 9/11 world did, where talking about these things is not is maybe more complicated than it was before that. So at least, I think in terms of how we look at Kira, is like, yeah, I think that what the Bajorans did what they had to do, and her convincing that Odo that she didn't kill this guy when she in fact did, and that she couldn't come clean for this whole year that they've been working together, that she could have just said, hey, totally killed that guy back then.
Remember that guy 5 years ago that you thought I killed, and I convinced you that I didn't kill.
Totally saved my life.
I wish instead of her saying, I've wanted to tell you for an entire year, I wish she had just looked at him and went, I never thought it would come up. Like
she just be like, I totally didn't care. I was like, that guy totally deserved it, and I didn't feel bad for a second.
I never thought Rom and Quark would find a mysterious box in the world that would lead us to this situation. No.
I never thought that this whole story that I don't care about would happen.
Would bring up
you finding out about this thing.
Would bring up a dirty murder that I did 5 years ago. This is really not looking good for me.
So do you know how many people I killed as a freedom fighter?
Yeah.
I didn't write it down in a book. So
I barely remember this guy.
I killed 3 that week.
Right. Okay. And can we just talk? Just looking ahead here too, knowing that which is not my favorite storyline in the show, but the fact that they wrote this storyline in where Kira's mother had this affair with Gul Dukat.
Yeah.
And so I guess Gul Dukat knew Kira, or he knew her mother more specifically, and I guess what was going on with that? They don't. That's why I feel like that story's even more out of place and really never should have happened.
Did he want to lord it over the mother and saying, I got your daughter?
Maybe he didn't know.
I think maybe he doesn't know that, because Kira, when her mother went away, she was very young.
Very young.
So I don't think at this point he even knows who Kira is. I think he finds out about all of this and remembers Kira's mother later on.
Yeah.
Like after the occupation.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because there's many years removed between those events, between the events we saw tonight and the events back then. Okay, because that's when Kira's a child, to your point, and by this point, I don't know, how old is Kira even when the show starts? Like 30 something, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Mm. Or about 30 something.
And she's supposed to be what, like maybe 20 something, late 20s in this flashback.
Yeah, that ponytail.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the affair with Kira's mother and Dukat was 20 years even before that. So we're talking like the 23, 40s at this point.
No girl in her 30s would let her hair be that long in a ponytail. That's a 20s thing.
You know what, the 2320s?
Yes.
Back in the 2320s, those retro hairstyles were, coming back, as we saw which we don't get a lot of 2320 flag stuff. Actually, no, I remember now another flashback. B'Elanna Torres had a flashback. Damn, there's been lots of flashbacks. Tuvok had a flashback. Damn, there was another Tuvok flashback. No, actually, no, I remember there was
some flashbacks are more memorable than others. Okay,
a lot of flashbacks aren't. So
usually it's bad though, right? When we have flashbacks,
kind of. Sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it's good. But
or when Chakotay had flashbacks. Damn it. Okay. Voyager, you loved flashbacks. I was totally off.
They're far from the bones of our ancestors.
You got to do a Kuchamoya in your Chakotay.
Oh, I can't get into my
Akuchimoya.
Hey, Kuche Moya. I gotta hear Michael Chan do it.
You trying to do the Michael Chan voice, the Chakotay voice?
That'd be great.
I still have to make the poster for the next radio theater behind.
Is there anything else you guys want to kind of like talk about of this
So
episode?
much.
Is there something that's like
Can we talk more about Rom's scream?
I loved it. I laughed so hard. It was so. And he's like,
It's
"You're a hero. He lives." And then
It's like-
he doesn't get the bar and just starts screaming again. Loved it.
Oh,
Quark's little smile.
Yeah, of course, smile.
Yeah.
I love. Yeah, I think they did Rom this way in this episode and went, okay, we've hit it.
Yeah,
This
is
is
wrong.
Rom.
And what is Rom to Quark? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think. Right, like this guy who's always waiting for Quark to die, but Quark never will.
Yeah.
But also fiercely loyal. Like,
Yes.
Yeah. It's over, Rom. You're a hero. He goes,
even when I'm about to get the bar, I'm accused of murdering my brother.
here I am. I'm going to jail. And yeah, what did you think of the
ironies.
rules of acquisition 139? Wives serve, but brothers inherit.
Ooh.
What?
Ooh.
Yes.
Why? Rules of
What do I
acquisition.
think of it? It's Ferengi.
That sounds about right for Ferengis.
For Ferengi, they don't like women.
No.
Yeah.
They're quite clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. That answers my question.
Yep.
That's it, Jeff. That's all I got. That's all I
Okay.
got.
We gotta do a few fun facts.
Yeah, let's do fun facts.
Fun facts. I'll get the ratings ready. Oh, let me get the text up.
Okay.
Wait, no, that's Big Brother spoilers. Damn it. Hold on. What kind of thing are we running here? Big brother. Big brown there.
Fun fact number 1. This is the first episode where it shows Rom may be a lot smarter than most people think, and that he is in fact possessed of a great deal of mechanical technical knowledge and expertise, which we mentioned in the podcast.
Rom's an idiot. He couldn't fix a straw if it was bent.
So great.
Fun
Oh
fact
my
2.
God.
When Odo is questioning Patrick Palra, he goes to leave the room, stops, turns around, and says one more thing before asking her another question. He also says the phrase, all part of a routine investigation. Both phrases are a homage to the show Columbo, numerous episodes of which were written uncredited by Peter Allen Fields. By the way, guys, the writer of this episode is Peter Allen Fields. He wrote the story for like In the Pale Moonlight and a lot of other great Star Trek episodes.
Wow.
So
You can feel his fingerprints
you can feel
all
it.
over it.
Yeah.
Peter Allen Fields wrote a whole bunch of great stories. I think we've done a few of them on the radio theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, a scene was deleted. Oh, sorry, fun fact number 3. A scene was deleted from the third act that revealed that Palra was having an affair with Ducat.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fine. Her
Ducat-
character was overused in the episode.
Oh, yeah.
What a slut.
Legendary.
Fun fact number 4, Mark Alima was irked that the scene where he kisses that character, played by Catherine Moffat, was cut. He was not happy.
Why?
Do it.
You wanted to see his smooching? We don't need Ducat smooching.
Fun fact number 5. This is listed as one of the 10 essential episodes of Star Trek DS9 in the 2008 reference book Star Trek 101. Okay.
Well, then how
That
come I've never
move
seen
along
it?
home. Yeah.
Move along
Move.
home.
Ella
Always.
Marie!
That was number 1.
Fun fact number 6. The mugshot of Cheshire is special effects supervisor Dan Curry. Fun fact number 7. Reference rules of acquisition number 139, Dave. Wives serve, brothers inherit. I'll tell Amanda that one.
It was nice knowing you, Jeff.
Yeah. Uh,
Give yourself some pause. Okay.
Yeah. He's like, I better reset and rethink this.
He's thinking right now. Hope she didn't hear that.
I was thinking of the good Rodney Dangerfield joke or whatever, where he's like, "I take my wife lots of places. I take her to the kitchen. She keeps leaving." Fun fact number 9. This episode, with its first-person narration, hard-bitten detective main character, flashbacks to a time of war, and overall noir feel, echoes strongly the classic detective fiction of the 40s. Moreover, Rom's interrogation by Odo and Sisko shows the police tactic known as good cop, bad cop, because Odo is aggressive towards the Ferengi and tries to threaten him, while Sisko is more supportive and shows sympathy for Rom.
I got a comment I forgot about.
Ooh.
All of this flashback stuff where Odo is wearing his like civilian garb, but he's got that high up collar. I think is probably what gave them the idea or helped them realize that Odo looks much better with a high up collar.
Yeah.
Which is why they added it to his uniform in season 3.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see in the next episode if they've changed it.
I don't know how soon he gets the collar, but as soon as it gets the collar, it's an improvement. And I think that's where maybe they figured that out here. I hope so.
Dave is disturbed by a deep V.
He's just got this big rounded. He's a shapeshifter. It doesn't. He can add a collar.
No one likes an aggressive deep V.
No. Oh no.
Not too aggressive.
Fun fact number 10. Kevin Brophy was credited as Bajoran Guard, but became a name in the official Star Trek customizable card game, Rano Dake.
Wait, you see the guy who gets stabbed?
I think so.
Does he actually die, that guy?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks pretty dead.
So when the assassin doesn't mean to kill someone, all right?
Yeah, he can't kill Quark.
Odo didn't really seem to take care of the guy who got stabbed either. They were kind of like with Quark, like make sure Quark's okay, and the guy's like dead on the floor.
Walked over his body.
Well, yeah, because he comes in, he's like, "Hey, I'd like to. Can I? I'm here for visiting." He's like, "I'm sorry, sir, you can't come here." He's like, "Oh, well, that's okay. I'm just gonna leave something." And he stabs him.
Have you stabbed?
Can you put
Yeah.
these flowers into water?
He somehow
Oh,
stabbed
sure.
him. Yeah. Can you put these flowers into water? And then he just stabs through the flowers.
Yeah,
And that's
that-
Why
why
did he kill them? And then they have to show he has to like drop the flowers so it reveals the knife.
they were way more concerned. There's not a lot of blood though, or any blood.
Oh. Okay, so fun fact number 11, I think I'm on. This is the last one. Not only was Rom's technical knowledge revealed, changes in his character also began to emerge. Max Grodenchik's delivery of dialogue was noticeably different from his appearances in early episodes, changing from a much sharper and icy style towards a smoother, more pleasant delivery with somewhat humorous overtones.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess
Definitely a good change.
Good change.
we noticed it and it paid us.
Yep.
okay. What happened?
I don't know. We lost them.
No.
They'll come back probably.
Fun fact number 11.
This takes place in 2365 and 2370.
Hence the 5 years that they are.
That's it. And that's it.
All right. Well, let's get to ratings. Hopefully, they've kept their camera re-engages in a second. Okay, let's get to the ratings. I'm going to go first. I'm going to give this I'm going to give it an 8. All right, Jeff.
8.2.
8.2. Okay, Jaemeel.
A 9. I'm going high this episode.
Ashley and Kevin, you've rejoined us.
I give it an 8.7.
Okay, and Kevin.
I'm gonna give this a 7.
All right.
I love
so, if you're listening along, that it comes out to an 8.2, which is pretty good. Pretty good. That's
I was probably
not
the
since
lowest.
we watched
Yeah.
Cardassians have we had such a strong episode. This has an 8.2 also on IMDb, coincidentally enough, which has several thousand votes. So we kind of came up to the same conclusion that they did, and come to the exact perfect average of 8.2. Never happened before like that. Not quite that perfect. So, yeah, that's something. Now, looking ahead to the next episode,
Oh,
which I
gotta
don't know what it is.
Split screen or
give some ratings.
second split second? Is it split second or
Split second.
is it?
I actually don't know what comes after this. I'm gonna find it right now.
Oh, I know
Yes,
which
sir.
one it is.
It's
I don't know what it's called.
Second Sight.
Second.
Oh, it
Sight.
was SS something.
This is called Cisco. So it's Cisco falls in love with a woman visiting the station,
Yes,
but
I
she's
just
not what she
watched it.
appears to be. I don't really know
This
this
is
one.
the one where Cisco is in love with a ghost, and then the ghost has to go back into her body, and then she doesn't remember Cisco anymore.
Ooh. Is there a candle by any chance?
And then
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the dude that like
No candle.
It's the like
No, like that candle.
it's the terraform guy that's trying to revive a dead son or whatever.
It's a woman, yeah. And then Cisco falls in love with her, and then he's like, "You're not real."
Yeah.
You have a twin?
Yeah.
It's kind of a lame Cisco episode. It might be one of the worst Cisco episodes of all the.
Yeah.
Well, we have to cover it. Every episode must be covered here because eventually there won't be a bad one really even to talk about. But
No, we just have
Does
to.
does he cry a lot in this episode? It's been a while since he
Does.
cried.
He does cry a lot in this next episode.
Ooh. Jennifer.
Yeah, because it's the 4th anniversary of his wife dying.
Perfect
So
time to hook up with
there's
someone.
Feelings with him and Jake over his wife she died 4 years ago.
Yes, her name is Fenna and Nidell,
Yeah, I remember.
played by Sally Richardson Whitfield.
7 inches of Whitfield. Where do I know that one?
She was in I'm Legend, Black Dynamite,
Ooh, Black Dynamite. Dynamite.
A Town Called Eureka.
Okay.
But yeah, she's she's in the episode like pretty much second to Cisco. She's in it a lot.
there's gonna be a dinner. Okay, well we'll get to it next week. But yeah, so we're gonna be covering Second Sight. This is the next episode of Star Trek DS9 in the second season. Also, let's get into all our plugs, Jeff.
Okay,
We have other shows, don't we?
we do on the wonderful Live Long and Podcast and Super Mater Brothers Network family. We have lots to present to you. Tomorrow night, we have Big Brother. We're covering the veto.
But before that,
You okay?
Before that, what are we covering?
So, okay. Before that, you have Star Trek: The Original Series,
All right.
covered by Live Long and podcast.
And we will.
These
7:00 tomorrow night, Wednesdays. Jeff, we do original series. And
Yeah,
we do
come on, Jeff.
Passion.
I got this, but I don't got this. Okay, so yes. Tomorrow, original series. Then we got Big Brother after that. We're covering that. Then Thursday, Dave's going off the fuck off with his Discovery friends and talk about a Star Trek show that doesn't exist. Then Jaemeel and I will be covering The Eviction. So that's why you want to come over to Super Mario Brothers podcasting, especially on Thursday. Are we doing the Radio Theater Friday or Saturday? This week?
Sunday.
Sunday.
Okay, Friday we got nothing, right?
Nothing Friday.
why bring up Friday?
Saturday we got nothing.
Saturday, not this week. No.
And then
We're
no
doing-
is there trivial debates coming up?
I think we're gonna do that. I'm trying to get that scheduled for Halloween. That's what I'm trying to put that on.
A Halloween edition of Trivial Debates?
Yeah, a Saturday edition.
Ooh, a spooky one.
Okay, so join us Sunday for Star Trek Radio Theater. I don't know if you have the poster yet, Dave, but if you
I
do,
don't. I am
He does not.
slacking.
But the episode is
It is the Pluto's or something.
It is Plato's stepchildren. in the original series.
Yeah, Plato.
Not Pluto, not the
Play-Doh.
fucking dog.
Play-Doh.
Play-Doh
Play-Doh.
step.
I was talking about the planet.
Goofy shows up.
Goofy shows up. I will be playing Captain Kirk. So I will pretty much be in the whole show.
And I will be Alexander, and I think I'm the next most line.
Yes.
I'm playing the queen of the Platonians or something. So
Jaemeel,
And I'm Bones. Yes.
Jaemeel, you have to join us for a Star Trek Radio Theater.
Soon.
yeah, he's waiting. He's waiting for the perfect role. He keeps passing up parts, but
I enjoy my weekends. I'm sorry.
I get that. I get it. Okay, we got to do it on a Wednesday night one time, and
Lord. I enjoyed listening to you all. You guys are fantastic.
no, it's good. So we have fun. We have fun with
you
it.
had fun on that last one, the 8472 one we did.
I did.
That was pretty good.
What do you think
Edit
about
audio.
the Borg being all Arnold Schwarzeneggers?
The like 40 minutes of technical difficulties at the beginning was awesome.
Oh yeah, Jeff and Mott couldn't connect at the same time. One would drop off, the other
It
would come
set
on.
the
It set
tone for the whole
episode.
thing.
Ugh.
Yeah, and then the show went fine.
It
Mostly,
went fine.
yeah,
Yes, it was a hit.
it was a hit. Yeah, Mott was great. I loved Mott's
Yeah.
Janeway. Ashley was awesome as the pirate Chakotay. He was
Yeah,
great.
Pirate Chakotay was awesome.
Arr.
Arr.
Akuchimura.
Akuchimura.
Akuchimoya.
Akuchimura.
Arr.
We far from the bones of your ancestors.
Yes, scurvy dog.
We do so many terrible things with Chakotay in that radio.
I changed almost every line.
At least
too.
it makes him interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's finally compelling. Or
Yeah,
there's
I was like, the only way this accent's gonna work is if I change words, and I changed almost every line.
yeah, it's good. It was
Compared
good.
to the cardboard cutout that he was in Voyager.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, he had a pretty good gig there for those 7 years. Anyway, that's all of our content. Check that out, guys. Jeff, we got to sign off.
For all of us here at Live Talking Podcast, thank you for joining us at Deep Space 9 at 9.